Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. I'm gonna open up with this video, and they just released all these so-called UFO videos. They did a dump, and they're gonna be releasing more videos, and these are not UFOs. Because when you go into the word UFO, it means unidentified flying object. We know what they are, and these devils want to control the narrative. They call them UAPs now. Okay, so the chariots of supernatural vehicles that the angels drive in. Like you got a vehicle, they travel in these vehicles and they can do whatever they want to do. They can go 10,000 miles per hour, come to a complete stop, switch to another direction, disappear, reappear, move in strange ways, go in and out of dimensions, you name it. They actually go faster than 10,000 miles per hour. It's crazy, you know. So I'm gonna play this video, then I'm gonna get into this lesson. So check out what this Edomite looking guy is gonna say. So they did a dump, and brother's gonna be doing lessons. I'm gonna be doing lessons among many other lessons that we have to do. So check this out. Check out what he's gonna say.
See them, and so does Congress. They specifically identified these 46 videos because they know that these videos exist. They are designated UAP by our own military and intelligence services. I have been exposed to a number of these. In fact, George Knapp and I provided that list to Congress. We've actually released some of those videos. So the American public is ready for this. Now, what it's going to tell us, what the end result is going to be, it's another data set of footage the American public can look at. But here is what I know for fact, Peter. There are machines, there are craft of unknown origin that fly with impunity in our restricted airspace, and our government has been assessing this as a national threat for decades. The jig is up. People now know UAP.
Yeah, the gig is up, like he just said. And this guy is not privy. He don't have the knowledge of the scriptures to understand what they are. And these vehicles, spaceships, whatever you want to call them, are sent from the Lord, and they do various missions, and they monitor the affairs on this earth, and they do assignments that the Lord set them out to do. Them the angels, them our brothers watching over us, doing missions. You'll blow your mind, and it's something that the carnal mind can't wrap its mind around. Right, the man that's in the carnality can't understand this. It's not for a man of carnality. When I say carnality, I'm just saying somebody that just only can relate to the flesh or what they see in front of them. This is a spiritual assessment, right? So let's get more into this.
Are real, but what are UAP? Who are flying these machines? Who made these machines that can outpace, outmaneuver, and outperform our greatest warfighters? That's the question.
And so you were just talking about this. We've got video that we can put up on the screen. One of the videos that your sources helped you guys get out of a government vault. It is a UAP over Syria in 2021 flying at an impossible speed, demonstrating instantaneous acceleration. This is the video. A lot of people will look at this and say, well, it could be China, it could be Russia, it could be somebody else. But when you see this and the other videos, some of the 45 other videos that you have seen, what do you think?
Yeah, look, we do not have the capability, unfortunately, for instantaneous motion. The idea of inertial effect and what would happen, this is baffling to the intelligence community. What George and I put out...
Yeah, it's baffling because this is not nothing from this world. I saw a chariot myself, me and my brother that's in the truth with me, my blood brother, we saw a chariot with our own eyes, and it wasn't from this world. So they here, I've posted many videos going into the chariots. The Lord, that's how his eyes is everywhere. So let's go here. So these Edomites gonna try to control the narrative, and they can't control the narrative. It's too many videos. It's too much evidence. Even this Edomite guy, this is kind of his so-called expertise field, and he only gonna get so far because they gonna gaslight him. They gonna shut him out. Shut him up. We can tell you what they are. Now, if you don't want to accept it, that's on you. It ain't no green men. These Edomites did a hell of a job on you people mind that's outside of the truth. See, Jake, in a simple mind, envision a green, short little guy with a big head. No. Luke 8:17, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. What does the word manifest mean? You got to start looking words up. You got to start being studious, manifest to me, made clear, obvious to you, so you can get it. When I manifest something to you, and a lot of them Jake women use that word manifest, not even knowing what it means. And I go deeper into the word. Matter of fact, let's do that. Right, so we go into the etymology of the word manifest. It says originate from Latin manifestus, meaning clear, evident, palpable. It's likely derived from manus, hand, plus root related to strike a hit. It says caught by the hand. So, you know what I'm saying? It clear, evident, you know what I'm saying? Evident, go back into, that this is true. Let's go back here. So the Lord is even showing people that don't believe in the physical, these things that can't be explained through these Edomites, um, scientific explanations, because you can't comprehend the chariots. It says neither anything hid, right? When I hide something you can't see, that should not be known and come abroad. So it's gonna be made clear to people that got their spiritual eyes open. It's gonna be not clear, confusing to people that don't know what's going on. Let's go here. Psalm 68 and 17. And what I've come to realize that our people was taught a very low level, disgusting, folly understanding of the Bible. It's almost cartoonish. It's like our people think the Bible is a comic book full of folly and imaginary stuff. Like these people really weren't regular people. Jake has mystified the Bible. That's why they can't get it. And the Edomites did a hell of a job of putting all these whitewashed images in front of you to further indoctrinate you. Psalm 68 and 17. And what you gonna understand too, the Edomites, when they read the Bible, they take everything literal. They don't know how to rightly divide the word of truth. What's literal, what's metaphoric, what's parabolic, what's prophecy. You have to rightly divide the word. And these Edomites read everything literal in the Bible. That's why they can't get it. Psalm 68 and 17. It says the chariots of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua are 20,000. Even thousands of angels, letting you know the word chariots is used here and angels in the same breath. When you go to the word angels, it means messengers. They're my brethren riding those chariots, monitoring and doing assignments. Like I say, I don't want to get into all that because it's things that we don't even know. But they're doing what the Lord told them to do. Put it like that. It says, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai, in the holy place. So the Lord used these angels. They ride in these vehicles and they do various tasks. And it's simple as that. If you can't get it, you just can't get it. It ain't meant for you to get. It ain't for everybody to get. This is the book of Psalms. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go into something else too. Psalms 104 and 3. He lays the beams of his upper chamber. I think this is like the NIV. Let me go to the KJV, but I want to show you something. 1 second. Give me 1 second, Salakia. Right, this is the book of Psalms 104 and 3. It said, who led the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. So why is the word clouds used here? Two reasons why. So in the ancient world, they wouldn't have the terminology of UFO. So with the men of the Lord, the prophets, and people that would see the chariots, they would call them clouds in some cases because they sit up in the area, up like a cloud sits up high. So that's the only comparable thing that they can use at their time to explain what they were seeing, if that makes sense. And also, in some cases, the chariots cloak themselves or disguise themselves as a literal cloud. Simple as that. His chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So the Lord is everywhere. His spirit, the angels are monitoring everything. They ain't nothing going unnoticed and unwatched. So let's go here. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Right, Salakia. Give me 1 second. Right, this is what I wanted right here. It says right here at the top. I'm just gonna read it as is because AI be going off sometimes. That's why we have the spirit to guide us. and you get the meat and spit the bones and anything. While the Bible does not explicitly mention UFOs, it does, but these people don't know. Certain passages describing supernatural events are interpreted by some as accounts of ancient alien encounters. And when you go into the word alien, they have mystified this word alien. It just means foreigner, right? So the word alien ain't this green guy, with a big head, this short midget that they got in your people minds through their movies. The movies are enchantments. It says often termed ancient astronauts. These interpretations generally focus on divine aerial and fiery manifestations described by the prophets who lacked modern terminology for technology. Lacked modern terminology for the technology that they were seeing. So in Ezekiel chapter 1, deals with chariots. What's this right here? Elijah, 2 Kings 2 and 11, Elijah's taken up to heaven, chariot of fire. He got beamed up on a chariot, on a UFO, with horses of fire, often interpreted by some as spacecraft abduction or extraction. He was taken up in a chariot. Yahweh Shah left off in a chariot. And he's going to come back in a chariot, a gigantic chariot. It says right here, Exodus 13 and 21 through 22. The guiding light that led the Israelites through the wilderness, which remained stationary or moved, has been interpreted in popular and non-traditional literature as a craft. There was a chariot, so-called UFO, guiding them out. And there's many other instances. So yeah, this is a highly spiritual thing that we're dealing with. So let's go here. So while people are so distracted and so dumbed down, these things are real and they've been going on. Your government came out and told you that these so-called UFOs are real. What are you going to do about it? Because people still, since you don't believe us, believe them, right? I'm just saying for the people that's the skeptics, the bug-outs, the you know what I'm saying, the knuckleheads. Because Jake is a hard case, man. It says Romans 10 and 13. I just want to add this into this. I'm going to show you something with the scripture. It says, for whoever shall call, and let me give you some history, Jake. The book of Romans was written to the Romans, the Israelites, Israelites, not all Romans that was in Rome. You have to understand the brethren of the faith of the Israelites, only Israelites that this book applies to, right? The book of Romans wasn't talking about just anybody that's in Rome. It was very specific. It's talking about the brethren that was in Rome because brothers had sanctuaries everywhere. So you have to understand that first. It says, for whosoever shall call upon my name, not God, not the JC. He got a real name, like you got a name, of the Lord shall be saved. So you have to really analyze the scripture. So that means we will have the name, Yahweh Bahashim, in the name of Yahweh Shai. We will have that name, and it's the bridge to our salvation. It says the key to this shall be saved. When you go into this word save, it ain't talking about the Christian definition of when somebody get baptized under that dirty city water, you know, and they think, it's crazy. No, it's not talking about that. Saved means being delivered, rescued, or protected from danger, harm, or destruction. So when you go back into this scripture, saved, that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about the redefinition. When these Christians say they gave their life to JC on, it's folly. December of 1989. No, and they get submerged under that dirty city water. No, it's talking about saved, be delivered. So this is the bridge of our salvation. But you have to have the name. You have to have the correct name, and his name ain't Yah, or Yahuwah, a God, a Elohim. And the Messiah name, you got to get that correct too, because it's Father, then in the Son, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, shall be saved. So these things that you seeing are going to destroy Babylon, these so-called UFOs, and they're going to beam up Yahweh Shai coming on a massive chariot to beam the elect up out of Babylon, and so on and so forth. But hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Hala Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachak Kodash. Shalom.